Hey everybody, welcome back to our mini series on building unshakable confidence in our homeschools. All of you homeschool parents or potential homeschool parents, I'm so glad you've stuck around for this fourth video. I'm excited to dive right in and give you the third key for that unshakable confidence. So one of the things we have to deal with as homeschoolers is a myriad of stereotypes, many of which are untrue. So the key that I want to point out to you today in building your confidence is to know how to handle stereotypes. Stereotypes aren't fun for anybody, right? But they exist and we have to deal with them. So today I want to give you 3 ways to handle stereotypes when you encounter them, as you undoubtedly will. Now, first, disclaimer. If it's just stuff flying around on social media, just ignore it. Keep scrolling. You don't have to stop and give your time and your attention to every vomit of information that someone posts out there. And let's be real, that's what some people are doing. They are just blah for everybody, whether it's founded in fact or not. So feel free to just keep scrolling. That was a free bonus. Number 1, always respond in kindness. You're going to encounter stereotypes. One of the most pervasive false stereotypes about homeschooling is the whole idea that homeschoolers are poorly socialized. Another one is that homeschoolers are not prepared academically, or they're not prepared for college, or they can't be involved in sports. All of these things entirely false, and I have other resources and information if you would like to know more about why those are false. I won't get up on my soapboxes right now. But the fact is, you're going to find people who genuinely think that these stereotypes are true. And they may ask you questions. Well, why are you homeschooling your child? Aren't you afraid they'll be poorly socialized? Or aren't you afraid they won't get into college? They're going to ask you these things. Always respond in kindness, because most of the time these things are being asked out of genuine, I don't mean this to sound derogatory, but out of genuine ignorance. They just don't know. People don't know because they don't go out and research all of these things before they perpetuate the stereotypes that they have accepted, right? So be gracious, be kind. If you feel that they have an ear to hear, maybe you can explain. Actually, research supports the fact that homeschoolers are better socialized than their peers in traditional school. Or maybe you can explain, colleges nowadays are really seeking out homeschoolers to apply because homeschoolers have a higher rate of graduation from college than traditionally schooled children do. You might be able to explain things. Sometimes people have their opinions, they're not open to hearing, and you just kind of smile and move on. You just, thank you for your concern. I really appreciate that you're concerned about my child. We're doing what we think is best for them. Whatever the case, just respond in kindness and keep on cruising, right? The second thing you can do to handle stereotypes is to research. Do your own research, especially if you find that a specific stereotype is bothering you. Some stereotypes don't bother some parents like they do others. If you had a very active athletic career in high school, then you may be particularly interested in how can my homeschooled child be involved in athletics. Well, I'm not going to have that same concern to that degree because I was never an athlete in school. But I wanted to know, how can I get an academic scholarship? And I'm going to want to know, how can my child get an academic scholarship if we homeschool? Now, I don't mean that those are exclusive of each other. I came from a musical background, so my interests might be more of, how can I have them involved in music if they're not in a school where there's a choir and a band? There are different things that are going to trigger different parents' interests and concerns more than others. And that's totally okay. But when you find that a stereotype bothers you, then do your research and really dig it out. Now, of course, be prepared. When you go on Google, you're going to find something that says everything. So if you start asking, are homeschoolers well prepared for college? Of course, you're going to get opinions on both sides, but do enough research that you've got some facts behind the opinion and you know what the actual research supports. Then when you do get in those conversations, if you need to pull some of that information out, you can. But even if you never use it in a conversation with someone, it's more about settling it for yourself in your own mind. So the first thing was always respond in kindness. The second thing is do some research. And then the third thing is remember that homeschool is the original normal. Another thing you might want to research is how young the public school system really is. It has been very recent history when compared to the history of mankind that the public school system as we know it even began to be a thing. So it actually has a very short term of history to have proven its success or failures in many cases. And yet we accept it as such a norm today. But really, backing up just a couple of hundred years ago, people were being well educated in other ways, many times at home. Homeschool is where education began before there were any schools. So I feel completely solid about going back and having my children educated at home. If they did it for centuries, I don't see why I can't do it today just because it's 2024 and people say that it's not normal anymore. Actually, to the contrary, homeschooling has exploded on the scene in recent years, especially the last 5 to 10 years. More and more parents are saying enough is enough with the school system, both public and private, and are turning to homeschool not as a last resort, but as the best choice for their family and for their children. So, as always, I'm here at wiserhomeschool.com to support you. So whether you're just making the decision about homeschooling or if you've already launched in and you need some support, I'm here to help. If you haven't already, follow me and subscribe and head on over to wiserhomeschool.com and grab the free ebook that summarizes all of this about building unshakable confidence in your homeschool. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.